Hello guys and welcome to another video. So today I am finally doing one of my most requested videos ever, and that is that I am ranking the most powerful demigods in the Riordanverse. We're gonna do a tier ranker with 5 different tiers, and we're just gonna place each of the demigods in those tiers according to what I believe. So this is not necessarily canon, it's like half canon, half headcanon. But for the purposes of this video, I'm right and you're wrong, so let's go. So it's gonna be the 7, the kids of the big 3, Reyna and Will, for some reason. Okay, so first of all, we have Annabeth. And Annabeth, I feel like, is usually seen as an underdog. Obviously, she's nobody's psychic, but I don't think she's anyone's pick if you had to pick a demigod team to go into battle against other demigods. However, I think Annabeth is the same case as Batman. She's the brains, and I think that with enough prep time, Annabeth could go against a lot of very powerful demigods. However, if we're talking about in the moments powerful, I think Annabeth could definitely beat me up. I could not take her. And I think she's pretty powerful, but mostly like thanks to her mind. So I'm going to put her in could beat me up. I think she is more of a general type, not a frontline soldier, so her strengths lie elsewhere. Which leads us to Nico D'Angelo, everyone's favorite emo boy. And obviously he is more powerful than Annabeth, just because he is a kid of the big 3. So, just by birthright alone, he's more powerful than her. The thing with Nico is that he is shown several times to have clear limits to his power. He can't summon all the skeleton armies that he wants. He can't shadow trouble anywhere at any time whenever he wants to. So he has clear limits to his power, which I really enjoy because some characters have absolutely no limits. So for now, I think I'm gonna put Nico in legendary because I feel like that is really good. God is just for like the top tier of the most powerfuls. He is very powerful, a child of the big 3, but with clear limits to his power, even though he has very different abilities. And it's funny that the first 2 we've gotten are Annabeth and Nico, 2 characters who have literally gone through hell and back. These 2 need so much therapy, and Nico has been shown to get therapy from Mr. D in the Trial of Apollo books. And speaking of therapy, this video is actually sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it is 100% online, meaning you can practically use it from basically almost anywhere in the world. You can have access to therapy sessions through chats, messages, phone calls, or even video sessions. Thanks to BetterHelp, you can have access to over 25,000 licensed professionals. All you gotta do is log on to their website and answer a couple of simple questions to find the therapist that fits your needs and your preferences. Then you'll be matched with your therapist and you can have access to them anytime, anywhere, no need to scheduling through the chat. You can even schedule video sessions to talk to them face to face. BetterHelp has already helped over 2 million people worldwide. So if you want to dip your toes in the world of therapy, I believe that BetterHelp is the perfect place to start. So go on betterhelp.com/unclaimed and tell them that I sent you. Use the link to get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp, link in the description below. So thanks again BetterHelp for sponsoring this video, and now let's find out who the most powerful demigod is. So next up we have Bianca D'Angelo, obviously Nico's sister, and we don't really get to see much from her. But judging from the fact that she's Nico's older sister, I think she would have had his same level of powers if she had been, given the chance to not die within the same book that she was introduced. She was able to fight against those skeleton soldiers where nobody else was. She's also a hunter of Artemis, which makes her half immortal and, more powerful than normal demigods. So I would say she's pretty powerful during the time that she's alive. And if given the chance to, live more than one book, she would have been super powerful, especially controlling dead people, I think. So I think she's in the same level of Nico just because of, clear logic. They're siblings, they're more or less the same if given the same chances. Then we have Frank. Frank is one of my most controversial takes because they're always saying that, oh my god, he's so powerful, his life literally needs to depend on this piece of wood not burning to just contain his power. But we're never shown that. We're told he's super powerful. Yes, he can turn into animals, but is it really that helpful when he literally allowed Annabeth and Percy to fall into Tartarus? Couldn't he have turned into a dragon, flown them all up into the Argo 2 instead of turning into a giant eagle and just, bringing Hazel up there? I think Frank could have done more, so I'm gonna say he's pretty powerful. But honestly, I am not impressed. For someone who is a child of Ares and also has the power to turn into any animal, I'm gonna say it's pretty underwhelming. Honestly, I think with prep time, Annabeth could beat him, but maybe that's just me. Also, Frank is one of the characters that has the least training as a demigod. Annabeth has obviously been in camp since she was 7, so besides Jason, who has been trained by Lupa since he was 2, Annabeth is the one with the most training. Then we have Hazel, which might also be a hot take, but I think Hazel is god tier. I said it. Hazel has the power of a child of Pluto. So we have to assume that she can also control dead people, even though it hasn't been shown, just, by the fact that she is a child of Pluto, even though that's not her main ability. We can assume that she can at least control them in some capacity. She also controls metals, and that she's basically Magneto. She is a metal bender and an earth bender because she can create tunnels underground. So she's basically an earthbender / Magneto who also controls the mist as an added bonus. And I think the fact that she also controls the mist, besides being a child of the big 3, really puts her above the other children of Hades. Personally, I don't think her powers were explored as much as they should have been in the Heroes of Olympus books, because more than just Hazel exploring herself and learning about her powers, we see her relationship to Frank. A common problem with Heroes of Olympus. I really wish we could have been shown how awesome Hazel is and how powerful she is as a 13-year-old, so that would have been cool. But next up, we have Jason. And Jason, obviously, he could beat me up. I'm gonna put him in pretty powerful, but I don't think he's legendary. Yes, he can fly, but does that really come in handy in a battle? Flying is more defensive than offensive, and I'm thinking more of offensive powers here. He does control lightning from time to time, sometimes. He doesn't use it very often. The children of Zeus don't use their lightning powers as often, nearly as often as the other children of the big 3 use their powers. And I've read a very interesting theory that says that a child of the gods is as powerful as their godly parent is in that form. So Poseidon is very powerful in his Greek form because he just has to maintain that form, because Neptune isn't important to the Romans, while Zeus and Jupiter is split in half because he is the king of the gods in both mythologies, so he has to split his power in half to pay attention to both halves. So according to that logic, the power of his kids is also divided into half because his godly power is divided into half, which makes sense then why Percy would be the strongest of the children of the big 3, because Neptune is a nobody. So Poseidon has one kid, and it's Percy, which then makes all of his power go into Percy. Pluto is very important still, and Hades is as well, which is why Percy would be more powerful than children of Hades and Pluto. But moving on, we have Leo Valdez. He could easily go into pretty powerful or legendary. He obviously has fire powers. He is fireproof, which comes very handy. But he also has a limited amount of fire from what we've seen, because Percy controls water, but Leo has to create the fire himself, which I think takes more of a toll on him. But we also have to take into account that I think Leo has more personal talent than either Frank or Jason. Yes, Jason is a good leader, supposedly. We haven't seen it. But Leo has all of this mechanical knowledge, and he always uses his wit and his knowledge of mechanics and everything else in order to save them from a hard situation. So I think that alone puts him over Jason and Frank, even though Jason is a son of Jupiter. But I don't think Leo is on Nico's level. So for now, I'm gonna put Leo in front of Jason and Frank goes in the very back because I think he's the least powerful of the three. Which leads us to Piper, and Piper is my most controversial opinion. I think Piper is God tier. There, I said it. Piper basically alone defeated Gaia with the power of her voice. Do I think she should have been a daughter of Hypnos instead of a daughter of Aphrodite? Yes, it makes more sense for a child of the god of sleep to put a goddess to sleep than a child of Aphrodite. But I digress. She can literally make people do whatever she wants them to do with her voice. And now she's pretty skilled with the dagger, and the dagger also helps her, know more information. She's also pretty witty and a pretty good strategist. So I think she is very powerful. I don't need to explain Piper further. I feel like the power of controlling people speaks for itself. Then we have Reina, and this is also a tough one because she definitely could beat me up. I don't know why the tier I could take them is here because, I think very highly of myself, but I'm not that deranged to think that I could take any of these kids. So I think one-on-one, Annabeth and Reina would be matched. But if Annabeth had someone else helping her and Reina had someone else helping her, then Reina's team would win because Reina can inspire them and give them more stamina and share her power and things like that. So I think it really depends on the situation, but I'm going to put her in could beat me up as well. She is pretty powerful, but I think it's the same case as with Annabeth. She has a different set of skills that maybe could be better lent to her being a general and a leader than a frontline soldier like all of these other kids. Then we have Talia Grace, one of my favorite characters. And Talia Grace, is she more powerful than Jason? That is the million-dollar question. I don't know because on one hand, Jason can fly. Talia has never even tried to fly because she's scared of heights. We should assume that she's able to do it because in my mind, if you are a child of the big three, you should have the same abilities, even though you might be better at raising the dead than, controlling metals or jewels. I think you still have the ability to do all those other things, but you're just more focused on one of the abilities. But she also controls lightning, and she's also not shown to use it very much. She uses it once against Percy. So I'm gonna say pretty powerful because I don't think she's more powerful than Jason. She's also a hunter of Artemis now, which makes her more powerful, but I'm just gonna put her there. I think that's a good spot for her. And then we have Will Solis. Will's powers are more focused on healing than with anything else. I still think he could definitely beat me up, but he has three main sets of abilities. He can heal people because he is a son of Apollo. He can also glow in the dark, which is a very cool power, but not very, offensive. More like self-preservation and to see in the dark. And then he can also have a really sharp whistle, which I don't know if he can attack with it, but I'm gonna say it could beat me up. In pretty powerful, we have two children of the big three. We have Leo, who is one of the only demigods who has been shown to have the power of fire. And then we have Frank, who also has this special superpower of turning into any creature that he wants to. So even though I think he is pretty powerful, his skill set is better used as a medic than anything else, which is also very useful. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm thinking more of a power of who could kill each other if in a gladiator sort of battle. I saved the best for last, and we have our boy Percy, who obviously goes into God tier. No one in the fandom is gonna fight me on this. It's just a fact. So Percy's set of abilities. He can breathe underwater. He can literally go as deep into the ocean as he wants. His body is basically invulnerable when he's in the water. He can fall from the tallest building in the world into the water and survive it. He can create earthquakes. He can create typhoons. He can also control water, even if it's fresh water. He can control boats when he's in the ocean. He knows his spot perfectly, the exact coordinates that he's in when he's in the ocean. Water heals him. It's crazy. He has so many abilities. And if you take into account the canon that we have in Heroes of Olympus, which I don't usually, if you take that into account, he can bloodbend, which means that he can control people's blood and, people. So I don't subscribe to that, but he can. I don't know, out of the three that I have in God tier, Hazel, Piper, and Percy, who would win. The fandom says Percy, but my heart says that maybe Piper. If Hazel and Piper teamed up, they would definitely beat Percy. No questions asked. I believe that Rick got a little out of hand making Percy so powerful, because in the first books it stated that salt water is where Percy feels the most comfortable, so in the sea or in the ocean, and that when it's fresh water, it's harder for him to control and it doesn't heal him as much. But then we have him all the way in Tartarus, where there's no salt water, there is no fresh water, there's literally just blood, and he is able to control it even though he's at a very weakened state. So I think Percy is very powerful. But I don't think he should have the ability to bloodbend, according to these rules. I know all water was salt water at some point. Okay, I know how that works, but I just think that we should see more limits to his abilities based on what type of water it is. But I digress. This is the whole video. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are gonna disagree, but this is my opinion and this is my video, so I'm right and you're wrong. Please leave a like if you like this video and click subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos just like this every single Friday. And don't forget to check out BetterHelp while you're at it. It really helps out this channel. And don't forget to click my link when you do. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!